Balik na po tayo sa ating press briefing at simulan na po natin ang open forum. Sana ay ang ating mga kasama sa Malacanang Press Corps, sana po bigyan niyo ako ng passing grade bilang isang reporter. Simulan po natin. Joyce Balancho, ABS-CBN.
Yes, good afternoon po, Secretary Roque. Sir, several experts po from health sciences in UP have given the government a failing grade for its COVID-19 response. Sabihin ko lang po yung ilan sa mga dahilan nila. Sabi po ni Dr. Joshua San Pedro, co-founder of Coalition for People's Right to Health, sabi po niya with the continuous rise of COVID-19 infections, kulang daw po sa effectiveness at parang back to square one po tayo. Sabi din po niya tayo na lang ang nag-iisang bansa sa Western Pacific region ng WHO na may community transmission. Si UP College of Medicine Associate Professor Edelina De La Paz, sabi naman po, government's response was not consistent, wala raw pong malinaw na plano. At the UP Professor Michael Pan criticized the excessive use of military and police in implementing measures against COVID-19. Any reaction po, Secretary?
Well, siguro po, tinatanggap natin lahat ng reaction, lalo na ng aking mga taga-eskwela dyan sa UP. Alam niyo po, ang IATF talagang malaki po ang tiwala at malaki po ang ginagamit na serbisyo ng mga taga-UP mula po doon sa kanilang forecast, doon po sa team na headed ni Professor Lagmay. So siguro po, iimbitahin ko na lang itong tatlong nagsalita para tumulong po sa IATF. Nang sa ganon, hindi na sila masabi na failure tayo. So you're all welcome to join po the pool of experts ng IATF, and I will personally make sure that a letter of invitation or letters of invitation are sent to the three colleagues of mine from UP.
Opo, on na Secretary Roque, meron na po ba kayong dagdag na details that you can share with us? Like for example, who are the 15 cabinet members who will join the President, and will the list include Executive Secretary Salvador Midaldea, who was recently exposed to PSG personnel, 8 of them tested positive for COVID-19?
Well, hindi ko pa po alam kung sino yung 15 cabinet members. I can confirm that I will be in Batasan Pambansa. I will be counted as one of the 15 cabinet members, but I will be taking my seat as a former member of Congress.
Opo, si ES wala pa po tayong balita po, Secretary, no?
Hindi ko pa po alam kung anong desisyon ni ES, bagamat tapos na po yung takdang araw na at nagpa-PCR test na siya. Ang PCR test po kasi is most accurate 5 days after the exposure. Alam ko po tapos na yung 5 days when the PCR test was administered to him. So accurate na po yung negative result ni ES.
Last na lang po for me, Secretary, former Supreme Court Justices Antonio Carpio and Conchita Carpio Morales joined the other petitioners in the Supreme Court asking the High Court to declare as unconstitutional ito nga pong anti-terrorist that many petitions have been filed already in the High Court at kasama na nga po itong legal luminaries, former Supreme Court Justices, baka po mas maging pati yung kanila pong opinion kapag pinag-usapan na po ng kanilang former colleagues in the Supreme Court yung mga petition po.
We welcome all these petitions. After all, it is the Supreme Court that will uphold the supremacy of the Constitution. So maraming salamat din po sa kanila dahil magbibigyan ng linaw kung talagang labag sa saligang batas po itong bagong batas laban sa terorismo. Yusek Roque, please.
Thank you, Secretary.
Good afternoon, Secretary Roque. Question from Lowell Riquelman of Banat Pilipinas News Davao Media. In a presser, DSWD Secretary Rolando Bautista responded sa sinabi niya na nababagalan po ang Malacanang sa distribution ng SAP second tranche. Then he gave an update na nasa 3.5 million overall beneficiary pa lang po ang nabibigyan nila ng ayuda. It is 3.5 million mula sa target nilang 18 million beneficiaries. Sa tingin niyo po, makakaabot ba sila sa deadline nilang 80% distribution sa end of July?
Well, hindi pa naman po tapos ang end of July. So, antayin po natin ang end of July. Pero sa ngayon po, hindi na lang 3 million ang nabigyan nila, no? Meron na po sila nabigyan na 3,786,143, no? Ako naman po'y kampante na kapag talagang gumana na yung electronic transfers nila, siguro 80%, 1-2 araw tapos yan. So antayin muna po natin ang katapusan ng Hulyo dahil yan naman po ang pinangako ng DSWD na at least 80% mabibigay nila pagdating ng katapusan ng Hulyo.
Second question from Lowell, are there no specific orders from the President na madaliin na ang pamahagi ng ayuda gaya na lang noon sa mga OFW na nasa isolation areas na 2 buwan na nag-aantay ng COVID test result kung saan the President gave an ultimatum to Dole na mapauwi agad ang mga ito. Can we expect the same ultimatum from the President para naman sa DSWD?
Makikita po muli kami ni Presidente sa Biyernes, tatanungin ko po siya. Thank you, Yusek. Joseph Morong, please. GMA.
Sir, good afternoon. Hi. Sir, sa sauna muna, can you walk us through kung ano yung mangyayari? Because this is going to be different considering that we have COVID, limited audience. Can you walk us through what's going to happen on Monday? And then can you give us an idea of going to be there aside from the Kongs? Yung po bang pamilya ni Presidente will be there? What about the length of the speech? Will this be aired live, of course?
Yes, it will be aired live. But alam ko po, limited talaga, no? I made a request to sit with my former colleagues in the House. It was granted, pero ang bilang, I was counted as part of the Malacanang delegation, as one of the 15 secretaries, no? So strict po sila, 50 legislators, I think 15 cabinet members. That's what I know so far, no? But I think Malacanang was given a specific number because it includes the Presidential Security Group, no, yung PSG. Ang alam ko lang po, lahat ng papasok po sa loob ng batasan will be subjected to PCR testing on Sunday, the night before, at lahat po ng nasa grounds ng batasan will be administered also rapid tests. As far as the speech of the President is concerned, sinabi ko na what will definitely be in the speech will be a roadmap for recovery. But as far as the other details are concerned, I'd rather that the nation listen to the President on Monday.
Will the President be with his family on Monday?
I'm not sure yet, no? Nakalimutan kong tanungin yan, no? But I would understand if siguro hindi makakarating, but I'm not sure. I'm not saying they will not be there, no? Basta the entire Office of the President was given X number of seats and it's been allocated to include 15 cabinet secretaries. So marami-rami pa po yung slots left for the President, pero marami po doon, as you can imagine, is the Presidential Security Group.
Of course, the Presidente mag-PCR test din, sir, no?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So sa IATF lang, you mentioned, I think maybe, ano ba ngayon, Thursday, so Tuesday, you said that the IATF will come up with the uniform guidelines para sa lahat ng LGUs in order to deal with yung mga mask violation. I'm interested whether, kasi also si Secretary you mentioned some features of that guideline. I'm interested kung meron na tayong guidelines that we will follow, for the police to follow, with regard to mask violations.
Hindi po IATF yan. Ang sabi ko po, uniform ordinance. So, hindi pa po napapasa ng mga lokal na pamahalaan ang uniform ordinance. Ngayon po, hindi ko masabi kung ano talagang parusa sa non-wearing of mask kasi iba-iba po yung mga ordinansa na pinasa ng mga lokal na pamahalaan maski dito sa Metro Manila. Ang common lang po so far is yung curfew na 10 to 5, no? So, ang pagpapatupad po ng non-wearing of mask, well, nakadepende po yan doon sa umiiral na ordinansya kung saan po ma-apprehend ang isang tao. Pero asahan nyo po na magkakaroon talaga ng uniform ordinance.
Sir, one last question. Sir, is the government interested in bringing back yung mga quarantine protocols? Because if the problem now, given the increasing number of COVID, is the mobility, ibig sabihin maraming tayo nasa labas, will the government consider reimposing again yung mga quarantine passes, at least to cover yung mga hindi nasa A4 and yung mga workers in related and allowed industries?
Actually, yan po ay mumungkahi ko mamaya sa meeting ng IATF. Dahil yung aking isang kasama po sa trabaho na panandili na nasa probinsya, isang obserbasyon nga niya, sa probinsya, miski MGCQ na, hinahanapan pa rin ng quarantine passes para ma-discourage po yung paglabas ng tao. So siguro isa po sa mumungkahi ko mamaya na dahil GCQ naman tayo, kinakailangan pa rin na sitahin at hanapan ang mga tao ng kanilang quarantine passes para mabawasan pa rin yung mga lumalabas without having to lock down the economy again.
So you think that will help, no? In the controlling the mobility at least?
Hindi pa po yan aprobado ng IATF, linilinaw ko lang po. Okay?
All right.
Maraming
Sir,
salamat.
thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joseph. We go again to Yusek Rocky, please.
From Francis Wakefield of Daily Tribune, recently daw po naglalabasan ng reports ng mga vaccine na pumasa sa initial trial or test. Is the government this early communicating with the governments of these countries para daw po ma-advance order tayo in case dumating yung time na may vaccine na for COVID-19? Magkano kaya ang ilalaan ng gobyerno na budget to buy the vaccine at ilang milyon po ang balak natin bilihin?
Sagutin ko muna kung magkano. Ang sabi ni Presidente, kahit magkano yan, hahanapan niya ng pondo. So wag na tayo mag-usap kung magkano yan. Kahit magkano yan. Ang sabi niya, inulit po niya, bebenta ko lahat ng ari-arian ng gobyerno para makabili ng vaccine. Bagamat tutol po dyan si Finance Secretary Dominguez. No? Pero yan po talaga ang paninindigan ng ating Presidente. Tayo po ay merong independenteng relasyon or independent foreign policy at dahil po dyan inaasahan natin dahil kaibigan tayo ng lahat, ng China, ng Russia, ng Amerika, ng Europa, na kung sino man ang makadevelop ng vaccine ay tayo po ay tinuturing na kaibigan nila. No? Ang alam ko po, 3 na ngayon ang vaccine na nasa 3rd stage of trial na. No? Isa sa China, isa sa Inglaterra at isa ata sa Amerika. At pagdating po sa Amerika, sinabi po ni Ambassador Romualdez na nakikipag-ugnayan na sila sa mga gumagawa ng vaccine para makabili tayo. Pagdating naman po sa China, inassure na po ng President Xi ang ating presidente na isa tayo sa unang makikinabang pagdating sa vaccine. At ang Inglaterra naman po, yung Oxford vaccine, nagsabi na po sila, ibebenta nila ito at cost. At ang cost po, if I'm not mistaken, parang under $3 ang isang vaccine. Ang pangako ng University of Oxford, hindi po nila tutubuan.
Question from Rose
Next
Novenario
question,
of
please.
Hataw. Narito po ang kanyang tanong. Ano ang government action po sa mga private companies na hindi nagpapatupad ng health protocols tulad po daw ng Fluor Daniel Incorporated sa Muntinlupa, Engineering and Construction na pinapapasok din ang mga empleyado at hindi nag-disinfect na opisina kahit na mayroon 7 na nag-positive for COVID? Mula po kay Rose Novenario.
Well, binibiling ko na po ngayon sa aking staff, sa aking magiting na ASIC Queenie. Paki-coordinate po ito sa DTI at sa DOH dahil meron pong visitorial powers ang DTI at DOH. Papuntahan po itong establishmentong ito para makumpirma kung talagang hindi po sila nagpapatupad ng safety measures at ipataw ang dapat na ipataw na parusa. Thank you, Yusek. Punta naman tayo kay Melo Acuña.
Good afternoon, Secretary. I just got a question from an elementary school classmate asking, would there be plans for the government prioritize or how to grab the distribution of the long-awaited vaccine?
Nako, Melo, take 2 please dahil garbled ka. Take 2. Dahan-dahan din para maintindihan ko yung question. Go.
I just got a question from my elementary school classmate asking, has government prepared to distribute the long-awaited vaccine among our people?
Meron na pong planong binuo ang DOH kung paano madidistribute ang vaccine na yan. At handa po tayo doon sa proseso na madistribute yan kung magkaroon talaga ng vaccine. At meron naman po talaga tayong programa kung paano natin dinidistribute yung iba't ibang vaccine din na kinakailangan ng ating mga kababayan.
Airline companies have begun budget fares to encourage domestic tourism. But the problem is there is no public confidence considering the protocols being observed or mandated by local government units, Mr. Secretary?
Nako, Garbold, hindi ko nakuha ang tanong. One more time. Dahan-dahan.
All right. Airline companies have introduced budget fares, but it seems people are lacking in confidence to travel because of the different protocols of quarantine requirements sought by LGUs. May we have your take on this, Secretary?
Okay, narinig ko na po yan sa NTF na isusulong nila ang common protocol, no? Dapat i-adapt ng mga lokal na pamahalaan pagtanggap po ng mga biyaheho sa kanilang mga lugar. Siyempre po, yung iba't ibang pulisiya ng iba't ibang local government units, yan po ay dahilan kung bakit napipigilan ng ilan para bumiyahe, no? So, ang solution po dyan, magsasuggest tayo ng common guidelines to be adopted by LGUs. Pero siyempre po, kinakailangan makonvince muna natin ang mga LGUs.
Meron po kayong reaction sa kahilingan ng Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry na buksan ang ekonomiya upang makabawi ang kalakal sa bansa?
Sang-ayon po kami dyan 100%. Kaya nga po ang mensahe natin, bagamat nandyan pa po ang COVID-19, kinakailangan ingatan ang buhay para po makapaghanap buhay.
Salamat po.
Thank you, Melo. Back to you, Sec. Roque, please.
Question from Chris Jose of Remate. Kinontra po mismo ng DOH ang iminungkahi ni Pangulong Duterte ng paggamit ng gasolina bilang disinfectant para sa mga face mask. Para sa DOH, single use o isang beses lang maaaring gamitin ang mga surgical mask at hindi ito pwedeng hugasan dahil may mga components ito gaya ng filtering mechanism na maaaring mawala ang epekto. Ano daw po ang basihan ng Pangulo sa kanyang naging rekomendasyon? At kung biro naman yon, ay tama ba daw po na magbiro sa panahon ngayon na may krisis?
Kayo naman, 4 na taon sa presidente, parang hindi nyo pa kilala sa presidente. Joke only. Bakit naman tayo maghuhugas ng gasolina, no? Pero pagdating po doon sa maskara, sa mask, ang sabi kasi niya, gusto niya mamigay ng libreng masks. So, kung hindi sa lahat ng Pilipino, sa maraming Pilipino, lalo na sa mahirap. So, ngayong sinasabi na single-use lang ang mask, ipararating po natin kay Presidente yan, no? Pero yung cloth mask, at ako mas gamay ako sa cloth mask, pwede pong hugasan yan, no? Ako po, linalaban ko. Meron akong 4 o 5 na linalaban at parehong kulay, no? Dahil mas komportable ako dyan. Bagamat sabi nga nila, ang cloth mask, hindi pa rin kasing epektibo ng N95 o di naman kaya ng surgical masks. Okay. Thank you, Yusek. Pia Renada of Rappler, please.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, sir, just on the
Nako, garbod
sir,
ka.
the 15 petitions po kasi.
Wait. Garbod ka. Slowly, please. Garbod ka parang si Melo. Go ahead. Now, go.
Sir, in the anti-terror law, there are petitioners who are saying that the problem with the law is the vagueness of the terms, especially on the kinds of crimes punished by the law. And the DOJ admitted that there needs to be an IRR to flesh out these terms. So, given these concerns, does the President have any guidance to the Anti-Terrorism Council on how it will define the types of protests or rallies that cause serious risk to public safety? In what instances can a protest or rally be deemed a serious risk to public safety?
Well, I think, although garbod ka, I think your question has to do with whether the President has any guidelines to the Anti-Terror Council on public gatherings, no? Well, as you know, the President is a lawyer. He knows the constitutional provision on freedom of expression, including the right to peaceful assembly. And he has been in office for 4 years. I don't think anyone can claim that he is one to clamp down on public gatherings. Even at the time of pandemic, several individuals were able to rally against the anti-terror law in University Avenue in UP. And even in the upcoming batasan, in the upcoming State of the Nation address, I understand that there is already an agreement between the Quezon City government and protesters that they can protest from 10 to 12, no? So that shows the commitment of the President to the right to freedom of expression and the right to peaceful assembly.
But sir, how will the government define that provision, yung serious risk to public safety? If, for example, a rally clogs up EDSA, which is a major thoroughfare, and it affects many people, it's major infrastructure, can that be considered an act of terrorism?
No, I don't think so, because the construction of the law will have to be in line with jurisprudence. And jurisprudence says that the roads, since time immemorial, have always been held in trust for the people to use, among others, for peaceful redress of grievances.
Okay. So sir, how about the term inciting to commit terrorism or inciting to terrorism? Is it enough for a person to say, oh, this other person incited me to commit an act of terror, for that other person to be seen as a suspected terrorist?
Again, this is subject to existing jurisprudence. There must be clear and present danger. And jurisprudence has said that the utterance, in order to be included in incitement, must also, the person speaking must also have the capacity, no, to actually do what he is inciting others to do. So the example being given, of course, is an ordinary individual inciting. If he has no way to actually carry out what he is inciting others to do, then that is still subject to freedom of expression. But if the person speaking is a member of the Abu Sayyaf and fully armed, then clearly there is a clear and present danger. Courts have had extensive experience in the Philippines in evaluating when there is clear and present danger.
Okay. So sir, last question. On the Oplan Kalinga, how many mild and asymptomatic persons have been transferred to government isolation facilities from their homes?
They will be picked up by local government units and brought to the isolation centers. And we also have established protocols already. I think they will have barangay officials wearing protective gear, if not outright PPEs, to transfer them to isolation units. Okay?
Sir, yung question ko is how many, sir? Yung question ko is how many have already been transferred?
I don't have the data now because these are LGU LGU-led activities. No, we'll try to collate how many. But according to testing SAR Vince Dizon, we've had to book at least 2,000 hotel rooms now because apparently our Wihilas One centers, which can accommodate up to 3,000 people, is not enough. So we have booked additional 2,000 rooms. So it seems that the messaging is working. Nakikinig po ang taong bayan. Kung wala kong iyong sariling kwarto na merong sariling banyo at kayo po ay asymptomatic, susunduin po kayo at dadalhin po kayo sa isang air-conditioned isolation center. At maraming salamat po at maraming sa inyo na tumugon na dito sa panawagan dahil ito po talaga ang isang epektibong pamamaraan para mapabagal po natin ang kalat ng COVID. Thank you very much, Pia.
Sir,
Back to Yusek Rafi.
Sir.
From Pia Gutierrez of ABS-CBN.
Nawala.
Okay, Secretary. From Pia Gutierrez of ABS-CBN.
Yes.
Sa SONA daw po ng Pangulo, inaasahan na...
Sa online. Dati
Yes, question to be read, Secretary. Inaasahan, ulitin ko lang po, sa SONA daw po ng Pangulo, inaasahan na ilalatag niya yung recovery plan ng gobyerno mula sa COVID-19 na pandemic. Kumpiyansa ba daw po ang palaso na matutupad ni Pangulong Duterte ang pangako niyang comfortable life for all bago matapos ang kanyang termino, lalo na't marami ang nawala ng kabuhayan at nagugutom dahil sa pandemic?
Alam mo, kaya naman natin paulit-ulit sinasabi kung ano yung kung gaano kabuti ang ating ekonomiya bago tayo binisita nitong COVID na ito, para ipakita na natupad naman ng Pangulo yung pangako niyang mas komportableng buhay para sa lahat bago nga ang sigalot ng COVID. Tandaan po natin na nung unang 3 taon at kalahati ng Presidente, nagkaroon po tayo ng pinakamababang hunger figures. Napakataas po ng ating growth ng ating ekonomiya at pinakamabuting credit rating po ang meron ng Pilipinas ngayon, bagamat meron pong sigalot na COVID. So sa tingin ko po, nagampan po ni Presidente yung mas komportabling buhay para sa lahat. Medyo naantala dahil sa COVID, pero meron pa naman 2 taon po na natitira sa termino at maibabalik po yung mas maraming Pilipino magkakaroon ng mas komportableng buhay.
Mula pa rin kay
Kailangan
Pia.
lang po, tulong-tulong tayo, bayanihan, kapit-bisig.
Mula pa rin po kay Pia Gutierrez, sapat ba ang pagkakaroon ng magandang macroeconomic fundamentals ng gobyerno bago ang pandemic para masiguro na makakaahon ang bansa mula sa pandemic? And without preempting the President's speech, ano po ang aksyon ng maaasahan ng taong bayan mula sa gobyerno sa mga susunod na taon?
Ang konteksto po ng napakabuting economic accomplishments natin ay para ipakita na kakayanin nating makabangon dito sa pandemya ng COVID. Yung ibang masama na pong ekonomiya, mas mahirap sila makabangon. Pero kampante pa rin tayo sa isang V-shaped recovery dahil napakalakas nga ng ating ekonomiya, kakayanin po natin ito. Pagdating naman po dun sasabihin ni Presidente, siguro antayin na lang po natin, talagang hindi ko po pangungunahan ng Presidente, pero naririyan din po yung Bayanihan 2 na sigurado ko na isa-certify as urgent, at yung Bayanihan 2 naman po, isa po yan sa napaka-malakas na sandata na gagamitin natin para tayo po'y makabangon dito sa aberya ng COVID.
Tanong pa rin po ni Pia Gutierrez, reaksyon daw po ng palasyo sa baksak na grado na ibinigay ng mga medical experts sa COVID-19 response ng gobyerno. Sabi daw po ni dating UP Diliman Chancellor at Professor Emeritus Michael Tan, gradong F, as in falpak ang ibibigay niya sa Duterte administration matapos ang 4 na buwan na lockdown na hindi naman umano napigilan ang pagkalat ng sakit pero nagpababa lamang ng kondisyon ng pamumuhay lalo na daw po ng mga mahihirap.
Alam mo, pareho naman kami hindi doktor ni Chancellor at kaibigan ko matalik si Chancellor Tan. No? Pero gaya na aking sinabi kanina, imbitahin lang po namin sila para matulungan po ang IATF dahil sa ngayon naman po talagang ang laki po ng alalay na binibigay ng UP bilang isang institusyon at yung mga individual na mga faculty members ng UP sa ating IATF, and we would welcome them. I will personally send them a letter of invitation. So Chancellor Tan, if you're watching, lagot ka. Mas marami ka ng trabaho ngayon.
Okay. Last 2 questions po ito, Secretary. Mula kay Julie Aurelio, on the suspension of non-essential outbound travel, can we have details as to which insurance company agreed to provide insurance coverage? What next steps will the government take to encourage more insurance companies to provide coverage? Or will the IATF revise its requirements for non-essential outbound travel?
Hindi ko po alam kung anong kumpanya yon at hindi ko rin a-anunsyo, no, miski alam ko po. No. Pero ang punto po ay suspendido muna po ang non-essential travel hanggang makahanap po tayo ng mas maraming insurance company. Siguro po, iisa-isahin, padadala po natin ng communication sa Insurance Commissioner, Insurance Commissioner natin ngayon, no, sa Insurance Commission, para sila na po ang humingi humingi sa mga insurance companies na kinakailangan magbigay ng ganitong insurance coverage.
Okay. Last question po to, Secretary Roque, mula kay Randy Cañedo ng Dabig C News. Isang staff daw po ng Philippine Embassy sa Malaysia, sinabihan po ang isang OFW na less priority sa chartered flight kasi para lang daw po ito sa mga turista. Problema lang naman niya, 2 booking na niya na na-cancel, expired na po yung visa at na-issue na ang memorandum check-out ng Malaysia. Ang masakit daw po, sinabihan siyang less priority sa employer na magpatulong kasi wala naman daw pong nakinabang sa kanya. Ang complainant po, ang pangalan ay Rowena Jupiter Pore.
Rowena, please contact my office. Kung gusto mo, by email, spokes@harryroque.com, boljakin natin kung sino yan. Okay, one last question pala si Pia Ranada. Pia, may oras
Hello,
pa kasi
sir.
tayo. We have last, ilang minutes ba? Last 4 minutes, so we can entertain one more question from you.
Sir, follow up lang din sa Oplan Kalinga. Sir, we're doing it kasi we're just doing this Oplan Kalinga now. Is it a lapse on the part of government given that it's the ones that people were told to isolate at home if they are mild or asymptomatic?
Well, I think hindi naging malinaw kasi yung sinabi ng DOH that the asymptomatics and the mild can stay home. No? Hindi nila lininaw na you must have your own room and bathroom. Kaya tingin ko isa sa dahilan to kaya tumaas ang numero natin. Pero we're rectifying it now. We have fully intensified our testing. You heard testing Sir Vince Dizon. We might be able to test every single person in Metro Manila. Kailangan lang natin damihan din yung isolation centers natin dahil baka mamaya, alam natin ang positive, walang sariling kwarto, walang banyo, hahawahin pa rin yung pamilya. No? So I think ika-calibrate natin yung intensified pool testing natin with the building of more isolation centers. Kasi nakita natin, mga wala pa naman 2 weeks natin in-announce itong Oplan Kalinga, napupuno na yung ating isolation centers. No? So talagang ganun kadami ang nakikita nating positive because of intensified testing daily. No? So, well, I have to recognize na the DOH perhaps should have been clearer at the onset na stay at home if you have your own room and your own bathroom.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now, so, wala na po tayong questions. Nagpapasalamat po kami sa aking partner, Mari Yao, dahil doon sa kanyang tinulong. Napakadami po kasing naka-isolation sa PTV4. So, ang crew ni Mari Yao ang nag-shoot ng video. Naubos na po ang cameraman namin dito ngayon sa aming makeshift OPS office. Meron na naman pong 2 nagpositibo, kaya iisa na lang po ang cameraman namin. Mabuti na lang po, mabubuksan na muli ang opisina ng OPS sa Lunes. Ang problema, meron pa ba po kaming cameraman para mag-on air? Wag po kayo mag-alala. Kahit mawala po ang mga cameraman, kung ako na po mismo ang magka-cameraman, habang ako rin nagpa-press briefing, gagawin po natin yan dahil ang COVID is here to stay at kinakailangan po patuloy ang buhay natin, patuloy ang pagtrabaho natin, patuloy po ang pag-discharge ng ating mga katungkulan. So sa ngalan po ng ating Presidente, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, sa ngalan po ng PDV4 na napakadaming mga naka-isolation na cameraman, sa ngalan po ng OPS na natatakot dahil ang daming nag-test positive na naman po dito sa new executive building, sa RTVM pala, ito po inyong spokeshari Roque nagsasabing, laban tayo sa COVID, kaya po natin to, we will heal as one.